For just catch you boys up with what we're doing. I've got all my parts ready to assemble the 350 to put back in my HQ after all this time. The old girl's sitting out here waiting for it. All the fuel tank and a whole load of mods done there to fix up the problem that I had. But I've just been cleaning and checking parts all day, so now I've got this little enclosure I make to keep clean. But yeah, my block's all ready to go, nicely cleaned, and one of the heads is assembled, ready to go. I only put stuff in here that's clean, ready to go. And what I'm doing at the moment, and the reason I thought I'd post this one up, is just to show you how to check your installed height for your springs. This head came from the States just a couple of days ago. This is the one I've been waiting for from AFR. Just a bare casting single, wasn't even a part. So yeah, I've had a bit of jazz trying to get all this organised just to get one. You can buy two as a bare pair, which anyway, won't go into that. So I got new valves as well, which came from Summit, and they all fit beautifully into these. The guides are machine, which I wasn't expecting, so they all fit. Everything is lovely. I've got my pack racing springs that go with my cam. That came off the old head. The other head, everything measured up beautifully, so I don't expect any difference here. But what we want to know is if we have to put any shims underneath, which even already at my measured height, I'll show you how to do that in a minute, the variations are, well, at least is 111, most is 143 at the moment. So you know, you've got to shim. These shims are 15 thou. I've got a variety of different sizes. Comp Cam sell these ones, which are black. These came on the head, but I got 30s, 60s. Yeah, you need a variety of those just in case. Being CNC'd, you wouldn't expect there to be too much difference. So anyway, the whole idea of this is you just dummy it up as the spring would be. So you've got to wind these little suckers. If you've got this tool, you've got to buy one if you're going to be building engines. They're not that dear, I think $100, maybe less. But anyway, it's just a micrometer for measuring. So then you just, you know, it's all just sitting in there loosely. I've just put the valve in. Just put it in place of the spring. So it's, you have to wind it closed, obviously, to get the collets in, which I've done here. And then you just wind her out until it's tight. Just give it a wiggle. Make sure it's good and tight. And you've got the, obviously got the mark there. So we know this is an inch long set plus 800 thou plus, I would call that 28, 29. Let's see if we can get it to, oh, there you go. See, so we've got to keep wiggling up. 35, I think that's what I measured it at before. So we've got 100 and, 1 inch, 0.835. So, what do we say? 1.835. So that's going to want to shim under it. So I've only got 2 more to go. I've been through all the way from the end, 2 more to go. And what I do then is tomorrow when I get to the compressor, the tester I should say, for the springs, I think my average there is going to end up being, and on the other head was 1 inch, 0.820 was my set height. So what I do is I use the micrometer, I stick it in the press, put the collet on and anything else that needs to go, and just put it again in place of the spring at a set height. I jack, the machine comes down, it's got a load cell under it and a vernier measurement on the side, and I zero that at the given measurement, which was 1.820, and see what the poundage is. Well, initially you set it at 0, and then when you put it in with the spring in, obviously it needs to compress something like about 600 thou, I found, and that will give you, or the one we've got is a kilo rate, which was around about 80 kilos, which is 100, basically double. So yeah, we're at 190, which that's what my cam requires. Some of them we varied about, oh, let me see, I think there's only a few pounds. So this was my range. So the lightest that needed a shim, that ended up going up to 103 kilos, which is 206, probably a bit heavy. But the least of them was, you know, 98. So it's within a few pounds and kilo. You know, if I put another shim in it, it's too much. So I know these work because we've run them anyway. So it's just trying to even this out for machining difference. My main problem here was this head got machined, and one of the valves, the measurements were very good, and one of them was machined deeper on the seat to 850 thou. So I was expecting that. Also needed a shim to get it up to 99. Yeah, I think this is the weakest spring I put into this one. No, that was the only one that needed a shim in the end. I beg your pardon. I did confuse myself earlier when I was doing that as well, because I had shims under them and I confused the issue, and rather than doing what I've just told you guys and that start afresh and find you, for me it's 820 thou, and once you've got that set point you can work either side of it. It becomes apparent pretty quickly. That's the easiest way to save time and do this quickly. If you've got a variation, you can work it out on paper, put the shim in. But anyway, I'm starting to get a little excited because I just love new stuff, and I'm just wondering how many aluminium cans. They have to be Heineken if you recycled them into there to be that quality. But yeah, once we get the crank in, I've done all my ring filing today. That was almost 4 hours of work. File fit rings, they're just the most tedious thing. And I've got to, wherever I've put my pistons, I can't even remember. They're tucked away there somewhere nicely. But they've got to get all the spiral locks put in them, which is another tedious job. So then I can hang them on the rods, and I will need to check deck height, which you're probably familiar with this tool, but I bought a new one because I never actually had one, and that's a bridge to sit across the where the hell is that gone? It's in here somewhere. My ring installation tool. I used to take my word for it. I've probably got it out and put it somewhere so I know where it is. That'll be what's happened here, but this is all my engine stuff. It's for, I've probably taken it out and put it somewhere so I know where it is. I'm just repeating myself. Anyway, that'll be now the other interesting thing I've run into of late is this is going in the bin. They reckon I'm setting up my dyno session for Monday week. There's my pistons, of course. But they reckon the Holly regulator won't do 500 horsepower, which I suspect would be true, even though I've flowed it and done the litres per minute style. The seat in those is about 5 mil, and that's the biggest restriction in the whole fuel system. So when that ball bearing is on its seat, I mean, it's just not flowing enough, I don't think. I did wonder that when I pulled it apart, but yeah, I'm going to John Sydney's. They do all the alcohol super stan speedway engines, so yeah, we'll believe his advice because they do heaps and heaps of engines. So I'm going to go there during the week and just see what his setup is to hook up my dry sump, and we'll go from there. But I'll do a video when we get it on the dyno. Probably I'm not going to bother. I'm that busy trying to get it done in time that I don't want to film anything else. So we'll film the dyno. I'll put that up. Cheers. Happy days. Merry Christmas.